And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your friend Cheap Ludes. Time to continue on with the tier list series. You know what it is. It's been a day or so since I dropped the last one. I don't honestly know how long it's been, being that I'm recording them in advance. So if you're looking for any, what I can only assume is like overpowered shooting guards that are going to drop on Friday, they're not going to be here. So I'm sorry to disappoint you already. We did the point guards, time to do the shooting guards. Now, I did include some guys who aren't primary position shooting guard just because I literally needed more cards. So, with that out of the way, I am still wearing the same outfit. You know what it is. S tier, unquestionable best cards in the game. I feel like these are kind of hard to argue with, you know what I mean? A tier, just a shade under S tier, and I'll kind of explain why they're there as opposed to S tier or opposed to B tier. B tier, very solid cards. Majority of the community are probably going to be using guys in B tier. These are overall very solid cards. They're just not spectacular enough to warrant being an A tier. C tier, just mid, just very mid cards. They can do a couple things well. I mean, you can have success with them. There's probably going to be some guys you like in here for sure, so just keep that in your mind. D tier, they're just not very good, but maybe they can do one or two things kind of well. Maybe you shouldn't use them. Like, you should definitely go to C tier realistically, but whatever. F tier. I mean, not good. And trash. Straight up, in no way, shape, or form should you use any of the cards in trash tier under any circumstances. A card is truly deserving of trash tier when the thing they do well can be accomplished by almost every other card in a better capacity. A perfect example of this would be Tony Allen. Tony Allen is trash tier, personified. I mean, I don't think they've ever given Tony Allen like a specifically good card. They usually give him one of the worst jump shots in the game, which did not, cease this year. In addition to not letting him shoot in any way, shape, or form, it makes sense, dude. He wasn't a shooter. Like, if Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was in the game consistently, he would also be in trash tier for sure. Shout out to MKG, dude. I have a feeling that Michael Jordan just ruined that man's whole career. He was over here shooting like this, though, which, to a certain extent, there's got to be somebody along the road that, is like, hey, maybe you have a mechanical problem in your jump shot. But I guess with Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, that never happened. I don't know, man. Danny Green Evo, B. For sure. Danny Green Evo is fire. Like, Danny Green's been one of my favorite cards all year. And just to refresh your memory, I do rank them within each tier as well. So the top card in B tier will not be the same ranking as the bottom card in B tier. Danny Green should float somewhere near the top, though, for sure. Evan Fournier, he'll be like low C tier. Eddie Jones, B. I want to put him in A because he is my starting shooting guard, but I will say, I personally believe there are some issues with Eddie Jones. He may move into A, but for now, he's going to be the best card in B tier for sure. Joe Harris, D. I mean, it's Joe Harris. Like, yeah, he's got the Evo, but, like, why would you ever have Evo Joe Harris unless you're an absolute masochist? Yeah, D. Raja Bell. Raja Bell may be the apex of the Sapphire shooting guard. Like, he does everything well. I know certain content creators gas up random cards like this, myself and DBG, notable, content creators in this fashion. But I really can't speak highly enough of Raja Bell. This man has carried me in Limited and against the hard body All-Star and Superstar CPUs so many times, man. Diamond Kobe. I would say Diamond Kobe's B tier for sure. I mean, he lacks some really important badges, so he'd actually be towards probably the bottom of B tier, or at least like the middle bottom, you know what I mean? Just disrespected Diamond Kobe so bad. It's one thing to not have the badges, but not even having the ability to add like Clamp Breaker and Limitless is just appalling, truly. Ochai Egbaji, I'd put in D tier. He's a pretty solid 3 and D shooting guard, but he has a really slow jump shot and not the greatest badge count. Maybe I'll throw him towards the bottom of C tier. He's okay. I green very consistently with this guy, so maybe I'm biased. Benedict Mathurin. He has literally one of the best jump shots in the game, and for that reason, he's in B tier. He's also 6'7". He is an Evo card, so the badge additions aren't there, but I would still put him towards the low end of B tier. Like, you can still win games with Benedict for sure. George Gervin, I would throw in B tier as well. He's actually way better than you would think. That being said, I think people do overrate him a little bit, but elite jump shot, huge player build. He looks about 6'10" for some reason, and just the longest, skinniest arms you've ever seen. Every time I play with George Gervin, I just think of, Corey and Trevor, really. Honestly, I just think of Trevor from Trailer Park Boys every time. Mitch Richmond, he's pretty good. He's like very aggressively B tier. You know, I mean that in a very nice way. Like, you can definitely win games with him, but he has pretty bad tendencies. But the Evo, if you grounded for him, I mean, he's worth running for sure. Quentin Richardson is the most disappointing card in this entire game, because it's like, if you go and look at the stats and badges for Quentin Richardson, you're like, yo, he is the best budget card in the game. And then you shoot a jump shot with him and you're like, oh my god, this card sucks so bad. That is exactly how I feel about Quentin Richardson. If he just had any other release, like if he had the same release as like Danny Green, not even like Mathurin, but like Danny Green or like Gervin or like Eddie Jones even, oh man, he'd be so good. But the release they gave him is so garbage. I don't even know what it is off the top of my head. It sucks though. Talon Horton Tucker, D, because he has a really low tier release. If he had a better release, I'd put him in C tier. He just releases the ball like super low, like Sean Marion, and that sucks. Drexler's A. You know, they kind of turned Clyde Drexler into like a 3-and-D wing for some reason, but like, other than that, he is super, super good. I mean, he's an elite level slasher. He's not going to create really that much. That's kind of his one pitfall. But he plays good defense, good jump shot. Plus, a man balding like this, hooping at this level, is respectable for sure. I always respect Clyde Drexler for just like refusing to shave his head for a little while and just like rocking straight balding for a little bit. It takes a real man to do that. Johnny Davis, I mean, D's, like whatever, I don't care. Alex English, C. People loved Alex English when he first came out, but I would say that Alex English is just basically a worse version of what George Gervin is currently. You know what I mean? Allen Houston, I would put him in B tier. He's not a good defender, but everything else is nasty. Like Allen Houston, this is probably the best Allen Houston's been since, there's a spider on my roof, since probably his 2K21 Amethyst. That was the most overpowered and broken card to ever exist in 2K. People like to talk about Goat Kareem and 2K14, Gerald Green, and like some of these other guys as being broken. I'm dead serious when I say there has never been a more broken card in 2K than the first week and a half of 2K21's lifespan. Amethyst Allen Houston's a tongue twister. This man could fade from half court and hit whites, and you literally would not miss. Like, this is the most broken card to ever exist. I'm sorry, but this card's pretty good too. Diamond T-Mac, I would throw him over by Diamond Kobe. He lacks pretty important badges as well. Not quite at the level of Diamond Kobe, but they're still good. I mean, what saves Kobe is his jump shot. Like, his jump shot is elite this year. I know, like, Ty doesn't like it. Other people don't like it. I personally think it's elite, and I think a lot of people feel the same way, so... T-Mac's jump shot, is it as good as Trey Burke-Base was? No. Is it still solid? Yes. Yeah, it is. Allen Iverson, as a shooting guard, like, he's like C tier. Like, he's just too small to play the shooting guard position. Jimmy Butler. So I would put him in A. Here's why. If you have a fully badged out Jimmy Butler, like, I mean, like, you badged him out with all the shooting badges necessary, you could make a case that he's S tier. But, like, I think Jimmy Butler normally, and probably the Jimmy Butler that most people have on their team, is probably A tier. I would be willing to say Clyde Drexler might be a little bit better overall. If you have a badged up Jimmy, though, I would say Clyde Drexler is probably worse. Jimmy is, like, one of, if not the best on-ball defenders in the game, though, I will say that. DeMar DeRozan, B. He's just kind of mid. Jaylen Brown, I'm actually willing to say he's probably on par with like Diamond T-Mac and Diamond Kobe in B tier. Jaylen Brown is the reason I stopped playing next gen, because I got absolutely dumped on by 3 Jaylen Browns in a row one time, like after he first came out, and I was just like, I'm never touching this game again. So I moved to current gen, and I actually just got beat up by a dude running Jaylen Brown in his starting lineup with a God Squad the other day, so he can still hoop for sure. Diamond Harden, I would throw him over here in C. PD Harden, I would put over by like Mitch Richmond. I mean, you could argue he's better than DeMar. I think DeMar is better for more play styles, but whatever. Somewhere in the middle of B tier. Yeah, Harden's still good though. Wally Zerbiak kind of sucks. Like, he's kind of similar to Quentin Richardson. Quentin Richardson plays much better defense, but Wally Zerbiak is a way better jump shot. So I'd still put him towards the top of C though. Dwayne Wade, I think Dwayne Wade's still B tier. I mean, you can make the case he's A tier, but I feel like at the shooting guard position, Drexler and Jimmy are already way better than him. And I can't even say for certain if Dwayne Wade is better than Eddie Jones at the shooting guard. I mean, you can make the case either way. I feel like majority of these cards are subjective, but still. Jerry Sloan, yo, he's actually a really good defensive card. I would actually put him in C tier. If we get like a cracked out Jerry Sloan, like, I know they would never do this, but like if they were to put out a pink diamond Jerry Sloan right now, he legitimately may be one of the best shooting guards in the game. I'm not even kidding. He is one of the only guards that can ever get snatch blocks, dude, and he does it consistently. Oladipo, you can make a case Oladipo's still like low B tier. I can't say for certain he's really that much worse than like Jaylen Brown, really. Shaden Sharp sucks. Oh, no, sorry, this is Jalen Williams. This isn't even Shaden Sharp, but just a preview of where Shaden Sharp's going to go. Jalen Williams, not that great either. I think he's a little bit better than Taylor Horton-Tucker and Joe Harris, though. Joe Dumars, I actually like quite a bit. I would put him towards the top of C tier. Gerald Green, probably C tier as well. No defense, but he's a good offensive player. Andre Iguodala, I would still throw in B tier to this day, which is crazy. It's wild that him and like Donovan Mitchell are still usable to this day after coming out in the initial weeks of the game's lifespan. It's wild. Richard Jefferson, I would still say is A tier because he has an literally unblockable one-handed dunk on current gen that is so infuriating that he has to be an A tier for that reason. The amount of times that somebody with this card will literally just drive on me and one-hand dunk on me and there's absolutely nothing I can do is uncountable, truly, and super frustrating. I'm going to put him in A tier. If you want to argue he's B tier, not on the level of like Drexler and Jimmy, you could, but I really, truly do think that Richard Jefferson's still there. Diamond Artest, right here, B tier. Diamond Artest is still really good. Still super good. Like, if I didn't have Jimmy Butler, he would literally still be in my lineup for sure, 100%. Like, if it wasn't for Jimmy and Rudy, like, he would definitely still be playing my small forward. Diamond Jordan kind of sucks, so like C. Andrew Nebhard at the shooting guard, he's probably like a C tier shooting guard. Like, he's not really that big. He's 6'3", he's not really big enough to really do too much. He's okay though. He does have off range and an okay enough jump shot, so C is appropriate for him. Anthony Simons, I would put in C tier as well. He's a C tier point guard and a C tier shooting guard. Anthony Edwards, B. Anthony Edwards can still get buckets. You could still run Anthony Edwards for sure. He's still super good. Like, I'm not kidding. Hornacek, F. It's just, it's a tradition at this point to just shit on Jeff Hornacek, I guess. I don't know. Bogdan's probably here in F as well. Like, I would legitimately use like Jalen Williams and Joe Harris over like Bogdan and Hornacek. That's real. Pink Diamond Ron, I still think is like low A tier. I'm not even kidding. One of the best defensive cards in the game still. Elite level jump shot. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this card whatsoever. I mean, I find no reason. I know that like comp level guys will still use like Jimmy and Clyde over like Richard Jefferson and Artest, but it doesn't mean they really aren't on the same plane. You know what I mean? Bradley Beal. If I got Nebhard in C tier, like Bradley Beal goes in C tier as well. Brian Winters is like the best version of like Hornacek and Bogdan. Take that for how you will. Zach LaVine, he's a glass cannon, but he's all right at C. Bruce Bowen is probably my favorite card in C tier, realistically. I'm half considering even putting him in B. Karis LeVert is C tier as well. He's D's. Chris Mullin kind of sucks, but he's still D. Walter Davis, F. All he can do is dunk. Really, that's about it. But he's still better than Tony Allen because he can shoot a little bit. You know what I mean? Shaden Sharp is fucking garbage. I hate this card so much. I tried to do the Evo for some reason. I don't know why. I think I was under the delusion that I was going to get Cade. I don't know why I tried to do the Evo during Season 1, but it was a miserable experience, and I will never forgive him for that. CJ McCollum is pretty bad, but he's like C tier bad. Livingston as a shooting guard is probably C tier. Like, he just doesn't bring enough. As a point guard, he's B tier for sure. But as a shooting guard, I would say C is pretty appropriate for him. Klay Thompson is probably A tier as well. Elite defensively, great jump shot. He can move a little bit too. I don't really think there's any reason to put him in B tier. Like, he's definitely better than Eddie Jones and Allen Houston. I mean, you could argue he's not better than George Gervin, I guess, but I don't really buy it. Pink Diamond MJ with the Scotty duo, he's probably an A, but I would say without the Scotty duo, he's probably in B. And you could even argue he's B with the Scotty duo, honestly. Put him like right here. He's worse than Artest. He's worse than Iguodala too. Yeah, put him right there. Kobe. Kobe's A tier. For sure. I don't think he's quite S tier. Like, for me, I would put him in S tier because I like his jump shot a lot, but a lot of people don't like it. So for that reason, I'd put him in A. Corey Maggette. I want to put Corey Maggette in A tier so bad, but like, I'm being realistic here. He's probably B tier. I love Corey Maggette though. This card slaps, dude. This is the best Corey Maggette we've ever gotten. Jason Richardson, yeah, he's like C. Tyler Hero. Yeah, I would say he's better than MJ for sure. I would say he's B tier. This card's actually really good. Like, people don't really use this card too much. And I'm wondering why that is. I just feel like there's other options, like Eddie Jones and Maggette are the reason that I don't use him specifically. So I have to assume stuff like that has occurred. But Tyler Hero can still play for sure. I hate this card, dude. I hate Richard Hamilton. I think part of it is because I'm so disappointed by how they always seem to like mess up Richard Hamilton. Like, he's never good in game for some reason. So I'm going to put him in C tier because he pissed me off straight up. D'Angelo Russell, D. Vince Carter, you could argue, is still like low B tier. He's still all right. Pink Diamond T-Mac, I know there's some hatred towards this card right now, but I still think he's A tier. Like, you cannot argue that he is at the same level of Eddie Jones and Maggette and like Allen Houston. Like, I'm not trying to hear that right now. Ray Allen, I think, is right there too. Ray Allen's still really good. Nobody really uses him, but he's good. Thunder Dan, yeah. C. Daryl Griffith, like F, whatever. Del Curry, D. Desmond Bane's okay. C. Devin Booker plays horrendous defense, but he's really good offensively. For that reason, I'd probably put him by like Gervin in B tier. Van Arsdale, he's actually kind of decent. D. Dominique's a little outdated, and I think there's guys who do what Dominique does better. So for that reason, I'd put him in C tier. Dyson Daniels, everything I said about Sean Livingston goes double for Dyson Daniels. Like, as a point guard, he's probably borderline B tier, but as a shooting guard, he's like, I would even say like low C tier. Like, I would definitely use Alex English over Dyson Daniels for sure. 100%. I don't think that's even really a controversial opinion, honestly. Donovan Mitchell, it's sad to say he's still quite literally B tier in some capacity. Like, it's wild. Drazen kind of sucks, so I'm going to put him by like Wally Zerbiak and C. He at least plays defense. Duncan Robinson's okay. C. Diamond Wade, yeah, would be like low C tier. Again. Fred Jones, I'm just going to put him in trash because I hate this card so much, but he's objectively probably like D. So I'm going to put him in trash because I'm so disappointed by how they did my man Fred Jones. Jalen Green's right by Zach LaVine, like C tier. Jamal Crawford is D. Why couldn't this card play point guard? I don't understand why he couldn't play point guard off the rip. Like, was it really hurting the game to not let Jamal Crawford play point guard at the stage he came out? Like, did it really hurt? You guys really couldn't let us have a budget point guard like this, man? Whatever. He is atrocious as a shooting guard. He plays no defense. James Harden would also go here in D tier as well. Havlicek, I would say, is probably over here somewhere in B tier. Like, his tendencies are bad and he can't really move, but he's a really, really good 3 and D shooting guard. Like, he's solid. Jeff Malone, I'm not a big fan. F. Joe Johnson, I would say, is somewhere in like low B tier as well. He's still usable. It's just he's super expensive, so no one has him, but like, you know what I mean? JJ Redick, I would put him in D tier with Jamal Crawford. Ivy still like C tier. He's okay. John Starks, I love this card. I'm #1 Ruby John Starks, like, hype man, I swear. But he's good. Jordan Poole plays no defense, but he moves super well. And I'd be willing to say he's actually B tier. Like, I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for. If you watch people who do like Sim Nation stuff with Jordan Poole, he's able to do a lot of things you wouldn't expect. Like, he's worth a shot if you have the card. Like, try him out in an unlimited game, you know? Try him out in freestyle. Maybe you'll like him a little bit. Who knows? Josh Giddey, D. Julius Erving is for sure S. I mean, it's not shocking that he's S tier. He is better than Kobe. He's better than Jimmy. He's better than Clyde. Better than Rich. Better than all these guys. He's S. It's not even shocking. Oubre I actually like quite a bit. I would throw Oubre in B tier. He's good. He's good. That jump shot is nice too. He kind of has the same issue that like Talen Horton-Tucker does, but it's just way better. Kendall Gill kind of sucks. F. They always do my boy dirty every single year. I think I like Kendall Gill because he used to hoop with the short shorts with the compressions underneath. I thought that was a hard look. Also, he had the little kid and play flat top, which was pretty tight too. Big fan of Kendall Gill. Kevin Martin, I actually like this card a lot. He's got one of my favorite jump shots in the game, but the card itself sucks. Chris Middleton with the Giannis duo is B. Or he's like high B with the Giannis duo. Without the Giannis duo, he's probably down here in like MJ land. I'd probably put him by like Anthony Edwards or like Vince Carter or something. I don't know. He's like in the middle of B tier. Kyle Korver, jump shot is money. He's not playing any defense. But if you attach the appropriate badges to him, he's solid. It's the jump shot that keeps him out of the Wally Zerbiak area. For sure. Lance Stevenson, you can still get away with running him. He'd be in this middle B tier area, kind of towards the bottom. Larry Hughes is fun, but he's like D. Latrell's my boy, but he's like C tier as well. Luka's like low C tier. He kind of sucks. Malik Beasley's the homie. That's like the best emerald shooting guard in the game. Manu's tough to rank because a lot of people like this card and a lot of people hate this card. So I would put him down at the very bottom of B for that reason. Finley's pretty good too. I would throw Finley probably over here in like the Vince Carter area. He's usable for sure. Kyle Korver area is appropriate for him, I think. Michael Ray Richardson plays defense, and he is slightly better than Tony Allen. Ricky Davis, I think, legitimately is S tier. I know people are running Ricky Davis on the bench due to having Tim Thomas, but if we're talking purely as a shooting guard, Ricky Davis is S tier. Like, he is the second best shooting guard in the game. You could even argue he's better than Dr. J in certain aspects, for sure. So I would put him in S tier. RJ Barrett, C. He's all right. Ruben Patterson, C. He's just like a way worse version of Artest. Sarunas is like D. He's all right. Moncrief's like D. Like whatever. He just plays defense. Steve Smith is like low B tier as well. His tendencies are awful, but everything else is kind of decent. Tim Hardaway, I actually like this card a lot, but like D. And finally, Vernon Maxwell, D. I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I think I personally did a pretty good job. I don't know, dude. I'm usually the only person that thinks that after these. So, hey, stay tuned for more content. I'll be back from my trip probably after this drops. And have a good day, guys. Peace.